I was like wondering, why is it that I am not making a headway in my business? Why is it that I am not succeeding? Okay, and I realized that I was chasing what the crowd was chasing, what so many persons were looking for. So we were all in the business of crowded movement. I always identify myself with the crowd. I just believed at that point that the more the crowd in that particular endeavor, the better for me. But I studied the life of an eagle and a vulture, and I realized that eagles hunt alone. Eagles go for their prey alone, and they are able to conquer and get sufficient food to eat. Whereas the vultures go in crowd, and vultures always go for dead animals. So whenever you see a dead animal or a dead human that is in the open, you see a lot of vultures will crowd there, and they keep scampering, and they get little by little, and they go their way. They usually don't take anything home. But look at the eagle. The eagle will go for a big catch. An eagle can lift an animal as big as a goat and take it home. You know, an eagle can dive a fish, a big fish at the bottom of a river, come out with it and take it home. So and I discovered that, look, the best way to fight for your destiny, the best way to pursue business, the best way, even in your office, to succeed, is to isolate yourself, is to go eat alone. Now, I'm not saying teamwork is bad. No, I am not against teamwork. Teamwork is very vital. Teamwork is very important when it comes to achieving in any project. You can't really drive away the need for people. But in setting your agenda, in preparing the idea, in building that foundation, you have to think alone. Especially when you're an entrepreneur or you're the boss. You must separate yourself from the crowd and go alone to prepare that project. And when you come out with a unique idea, because what isolating yourself to think, to reason, to plan, what it does for you is to capture a unique project, is to capture your own personalized idea that is separate from what the crowd is chasing. So if you have been chasing what the crowd is chasing, it's likely that you may not break even very soon. Today, Nigeria is almost like a commercialized country where we are purely based on consumption instead of production. It's all about selling and trading. So when you go to every street, you will see shops. Okay, people selling provision, or they are selling drinks, or they are selling food items, or whatever condiment. And everybody wants to go into kobo business, that you're making 1 naira, 2 naira profit. Okay? And you're not thinking differently. Even though you want to do the same business that others are doing, you just have to be creative and think differently. Think outside the box. Create something unique that will draw you a unique crowd. Okay, so that business you're doing, how many persons, just wake up today, count on your street, how many persons are doing that same business. If you can identify over 10 persons running that same business within your street, then know that it will be very difficult for you to break even, because the competition is now tougher. You have so many persons competing with you, and it's difficult for you to get enough cash that will be sufficient for you to enjoy. Think of isolating yourself. Think of creating something unique that will separate you from the crowd. You must not do what every other person is doing to succeed. Think of different things. Think of carving a niche for yourself. within the same field, because essentially there is nothing new anymore, but within the same field, within the same environment that others are operating, carve a niche for yourself. Think of a different way to do what you're doing. Think of what to do to draw more attention to yourself. The key point is drawing attention to yourself. That is what the ego does. The ego draws attention to itself, while the vultures draw attention to their crowd. And that's basically why vultures don't take much home. They only take the one they use just to feed their tummy at that particular point in time, and they go hungry the next day. They don't take anything home. But an ego, because it goes alone, it catches big animal, big prey, takes it home, and that can be able to sustain an ego for a long while before it goes again to chase for another one. Begin to think of doing it solely. Separate yourself from the crowd, and you discover that there may be headway. Despite the challenges, it's possible that you can break even and break through. My name is David Oguzerem. Thank you for listening to me.